Center with me, Maria Shakil. We have seen the pandemic bring out the best in nations, where citizens have decided to hold on to each other and help each other. But these times have also brought out the worst in nations as pandemic profiteering becomes the order of the day. And over the next 30 minutes, our reporters have brought out several stories which are certainly very, very disturbing. From ambulance drivers to business owners to suppliers of critical medicines, all of them turning vultures, hiking the prices of essential commodities by 10 times the market rate, putting profits over humanity, making a medical emergency something that drains the saving of the Aam Aadmi. It is the time now, clearly, for the government to ensure that there is crackdown, because then only justice will be done to people. What can be done? What are the stories of people as they suffer? Here's that report, and then I bring in my guests.
The pandemic is a nightmare for our citizens. Lack of hospital beds, a fight for oxygen and cylinders, a struggle for essential medicines and shortage of vaccines. Every day is a battle to just stay alive. But there are some who continue to prey on the miseries of the common citizens. News 18 will reveal the shocking truth behind those ambulance drivers and owners who have brought dishonor to their jobs. Those who profited by playing with the lives of COVID patients without hesitation. News 18's undercover team found out that the ambulance drivers taking COVID patients to and from the hospital were asking for whatever price that fancied them. For a journey of just 5 to 6 kilometers, drivers are demanding thousands of rupees. Rates are different for ambulances with and without oxygen cylinders. The more serious a patient, the higher the price.
लोकल चार्ज है जो उसका 5 से 6 है कोविड है ना 5 किलोमीटर तो लोकल चार्ज होता है ना आपको जो है नॉर्मल चार्ज कोविड का 5,000 से 6,000 5 से 6,000 आगरा से गाड़ी आई 40,000 है आगरा से गाड़ी आई 40,000 40,000 कोविड
Not just ambulances, the black trade of oximeters is also thriving in the national capital, in the well-known Bengali market and Gol market areas. Normally an oximeter costs 800 to 1,000 rupees, but here sellers have jacked up the prices to 2,500 to 5,000 rupees, even going up to 10,000 rupees. In fact, even in Khan Market's iconic Khan Chacha restaurant, 96 oxygen concentrators were recovered.
एक शख्स है हमारे साथ, आप देख सकते हैं कि इन्होंने अभी इस वक्त ऑक्सीमीटर लिया है और जो ऑक्सीमीटर पहले 800 से 1,000 का था वो उन्होंने इस वक्त करीब 2,500 का लिया। हम उनसे बात करते हैं। सर ये बताइए कि अभी कितने में लिया?
2,500 2500 5,000 मिलेगा, 5,000 लेना पड़ेगा आदमी को जान बचाने के लिए। 5,000 10,000 मिलेगा लेना पड़ेगा, गरीब आदमी मर जाएगा, क्षमता नहीं गरीब आदमी खरीदने की।
These cases of profiteering are emerging from other parts of the country as well, where the medical infrastructure is in dire straits. In Lakhimpur in Uttar Pradesh, we expose this vulture who was charging 33,000 rupees to ferry a patient to Ghaziabad in an ambulance without an oxygen cylinder.
गाजियाबाद फोर्टिस हॉस्पिटल भैया, फोर्टिस हॉस्पिटल गाजियाबाद का फोर्टिस हॉस्पिटल। पैसे बताओ भैया।
35,000 रुपए लगे।
कितने?
35,000 रुपए।
35 की 35 33,000 यार। 33,000 बिना सिलेंडर बहुत ज्यादा बता रहे हो यार।
Meanwhile, we exposed another vulture who charged a patient 40,000 rupees for an ambulance ride from Patna to Bhagalpur.
हाँ भागलपुर ले जाके तो नंबर एगो एम्बुलेंस वाला सब मिल रहे हैं भागलपुर यहाँ NMCH। तो हमरा पेशेंट का ऑक्सीजन तब उतर जाते अब ओठा से ऑक्सीजन हमरा सीरियस है पेशेंट तो भागलपुर में हॉस्पिटल छोटा एडमिट करे ICU कोविड मरीज बड़का गरीब है तो कते दिया पड़ते तो जल्दी बता दो।
40,000 रुपए लगते हैं।
40,000 लगता है। कथी का वो अथी वाला वेंटिलेटर
वाला एम्बुलेंस ना,
आए?
वेंट वाला एम्बुलेंस ना चाहिए।
हाँ हाँ, वेंट वाला।
हाँ, वेंट वाला।
40,000 लग जाता है।
जी।
Black marketing of critical drugs is also rampant. Police in Nasik busted a racket selling tocilizumab injections worth 40,000 rupees each at 10 times the price, that is 4 lakhs per injection. The medical infrastructure across the country is in the ICU and millions are being denied basic care. As public desperation rises, COVID vultures are preying on the needy to make a quick buck. It is time for a nationwide crackdown to bring them to justice.
And it's deeply disturbing to watch this, certainly. Where is that basic essence that defines a human being? That certainly has gone missing. But we have seen also countless stories of hope as well, where citizens are saying that the state may have failed them, but they will be rising for each other. Let me bring in my guests. Professor Dilip Mavlankar is the director of Indian Institute of Public Health. We are being joined by Dr. Anita Ramesh. She is the head of medical oncology at Apollo Specialty Hospitals in Chennai. We have Siddhant Chadda. His father passed away in Gurgaon due to COVID-19. Siddhant, I want to know about your own experience. Overpricing is the order of the day. Multiple stories of overpricing of beds, medicines, oxygen. Just about everybody is out there to fleece a person who is desperate.
That is exactly true. So as soon as you step in to buy anything related to COVID, so the prices are gone insane. So anywhere from 5 to 10 times, right from any medicine that you want to procure, oxygen cylinders, remdesivir injections, tocilizumab, Actemra that we were discussing. So everything I've personally paid through my nose for everything, and unfortunately everything is required. So it is not as if you can skip one thing and just let it be and wait it out. You require everything in an emergency, what the doctor prescribes, and you have to just get it at any price. That is a big problem.
So you paid for it and you got it, and still you could not save your father.
Exactly. So day one, so my father was prescribed remdesivir injections, a dosage of 7 injections, which was prescribed to him. I stood in line at 4 in the morning. I was in line till 7, and the pharmaceutical company just put a banner over there that it is not available. So unfortunately, I had to buy from the black market. So first 3 remdesivir doses vials that I had to buy, I bought for about 20,000 rupees each, which with an MRP of about 2,000 rupees. And from there on, obviously, next lot I paid much higher. Couple of them I got from my wife's company, procured them and helped us out, and I didn't pay. I just paid MRP for that. But most of the procurement was at almost 10-15 times of MRP prices for the remdesivir injections. The day one, I bought an oxygen cylinder for 17,000 rupees. I bought a oximeter for 2,000 rupees. For my father's cremation, the ambulance that the hospital arranged, the crematorium was 3.5 kilometers away. I paid 14,000 rupees just for without, for a cremation, you don't need any oxygen or something. Just a 3.5 kilometer journey to the crematorium cost me 14,000 rupees. So you can imagine, the kind of black marketing that is happening and the kind of advantage people are taking.
Yes, Siddhant, it's very, very worrying. What you have said, you have shared your own experience, and that is the truth right now. That's
True.
Almost like the order of the day, which is very, very rampant across the country. And crackdowns are happening, but people and patients and the relatives continue to suffer. There seems to be no respite in sight. Professor Mavlankar, the first wave came and we saw this. 8 months period was there for states to ramp up the health infrastructure. Capacity augmentation should have happened. That hasn't happened, which included ensuring that the pharmaceutical companies have enough of remdesivir and other drugs which is critical in any treatment. That seemed to have not worked. Then why should common man suffer? Why should they continue to pay through the nose for basic basic drugs? And also what's most worrying is that there's no dignity in death. The ambulance drivers, these are operators largely, and the mortuary van, those who run it, they are overpricing, taking bodies to the cremation grounds. I mean, what are we becoming as a nation?
Yeah, I think this is a major issue which is unspoken, and it is good that you have taken it up. I am reminded of a book written 20 years ago or more by a very well-known author, P. Sainath. He wrote about, the title is Everybody Loves a Good Drought. And he has described how in India of those times people made lot of profiteering in the drought years. So this is a very similar mentality which hasn't yet changed from the people who are selling things or offering services, and hasn't any government mechanisms set up. We should have anticipated that this is going to happen when shortages arise. Black market and price increases happen. So we should have made mechanisms. Even now we should make mechanisms. For example, rate fixation of many things, including ambulances. No hidden charges, complaint mechanism. We have ambulance calling mechanism, but we don't have a complaint number where people can complain. And random audits of such things and investigations. And ensuring in future that such shortages don't arise. And if shortages are there, there is fair distribution through government-owned pharmacies. We have Food and Drug Administration. We have this.
Should there be a control room in
so
every state or perhaps in every district? That is not happening. When we say that there should be a crackdown, what is the nature of this crackdown? Who really is accountable here? You know, if the state fails you at this level, then the citizens make profit. That's what is happening. Unfortunate reality of India today. Let me bring in other guests, and we are also being joined by Dr. Shailesh Agarwal. He's a chest consultant from Apollo in Indore. Dr. Agarwal, tell us your story. How are things there in Indore? Of course, the cases are rising, but at the same time, has the government there put a cap on the entire hospitalization and care in private hospitals? Because that is of course a matter of huge concern in multiple private hospitals across the country, which are actually charging a huge amount of money for the beds in these hospitals. ICU beds, jacked up prices, ICU normal oxygen beds. These are huge prices that are being charged.
This is not the price hiking from the hospitals. This is what we have to actually to sustain ourselves. So price hiking by the private hospitals, I think this is not a right claim. We are working very hard and our staff is working round the clock just to manage the patient. We have been through this for last 1 year, going through all kinds of fatigue and still managing the patients. Yes, it is very difficult for us to manage all these, but I don't think this is the right kind of question on us that we are charging too much. We have to sustain, and you must understand that it is the private health sector which is managed so somehow this panic situation. Otherwise, had it been just on the government healthcare sector, it would have collapsed in the first wave itself. So it is because of the private healthcare sector in the India that we are still going through somehow. So obviously, for private health sector to go through, they have to manage their expenses.
Yes. Fine. So, Dr. Agarwal, what about the oxygen shortage? Is that continuing in Indore?
Yeah, still it is continuing. It is very difficult for us, and we are finding very hard to arrange for all this. And we feel really bad that the times we have to send back our patients. Some of them are our relatives, or when we don't find a bed for them in anywhere. So it is a very difficult situation for us.
We have Manisha Singh as well, and Manisha is joining me from Lucknow. Manisha, what exactly happened? how are things in your family right now?
एक्चुअली हेलो, मैं मनीषा। मेरे फैमिली में हम लोग 5 लोग हैं और 5 लोग को कोविड पॉजिटिव आया। जैसे पहले तो यहाँ पे कोई चेक कराओ तो भी आप पूरी तरह से ये नहीं करते। पहली बार हमारे सारे फैमिली का नेगेटिव, एक मेरे बेटे का पॉजिटिव आया। दोबारा से क्योंकि हम लोगों के सारे सिम्टम्स वैसे थे तो हम लोगों ने दोबारा से करवाया। तो फिर जब दोबारा से हम लोगों ने कराया तो हमारी पूरी फैमिली पॉजिटिव थी। तो उसके बाद अभी तो फिर हम लोगों के सारे चीज जैसे चले, तो एक चीज हम लोगों के मन में डर था कि अगर इफ इन केस अगर हमारे को ऑक्सीजन की कमी होती है तो हम कहाँ जाएंगे। ये सबसे पहला एक दिमाग में ये चीज है ना। हम कोई भी इंसान, हमने देखा कि कोरोना से कोई भी नहीं मर रहा, जो भी मर रहा है वो इस चीज को सोच के कि फिर हमारे ऑक्सीजन की कमी हो रही है, जिसको बेड नहीं मिल रहा हॉस्पिटल में, वेंटिलेटर नहीं अवेलेबल है, इसकी कमी की वजह से लोग मर रहे हैं। मैं बताऊं, मेरे फादर इन लॉ इस समय अभी वेंटिलेटर पे हैं और हम लोगों ने हॉस्पिटल के लिए शुरुआत में तो इतने ज्यादा कि कहीं भी हॉस्पिटल नहीं मिला तो एक पहचान के लोग डॉक्टर थे, उन्होंने ऑक्सीजन तो लगा दिया पर उनके पास इतने नर्सिंग स्टाफ नहीं थे क्योंकि वो कोविड वाला हॉस्पिटल था नहीं। ठीक है, तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि उनको ऑक्सीजन तो दिया गया लेकिन उन्होंने कहा फिर और भी कुछ कॉम्प्लिकेशन आ रहे होंगे, जिसकी वजह से उन्होंने कहा कि अब ये बहुत डेंजर जोन में जा रहे हैं, अब इन्हें कैसे भी हो वेंटिलेटर की बहुत जरूरत है। तो अब हम लोगों को 3 दिन तक काफी इधर उधर ये करने के बाद बहुत सारे हर कोई से आप समझ सकते हो ना कि आप मार्केट में आप हाथ जोड़ के खड़े हो कि कहीं भी कुछ खाली हो, ये भी नहीं पता हमारे को रहता है कि किस जगह पे ये एक होना चाहिए प्रॉपर तरीके से सिस्टम को कि हाँ यहाँ पे ये चीज अवेलेबल है। ये चीज भी बताने वाला कहीं नहीं है। हम इस हॉस्पिटल से उस हॉस्पिटल, उस हॉस्पिटल से उस हॉस्पिटल जा रहे हैं और तब जाके अगर मिला भी तो उसके बाद मार्केट में अभी दवाई अवेलेबल नहीं है। बहुत मुश्किल से तो वेंटिलेटर उन्हें प्रोवाइड कराया गया और बहुतों को तो नहीं मिला। हमारे सामने कितने लोग ऐसे वहीं पे चले गए। वो हम लोगों का गुड लक कह लीजिए कि हम लोगों को उस समय वेंटिलेटर अवेलेबल मिल गया। और मैं बताऊं, ये एक रेमडेसिविर मेडिसिन है, उसके बारे में मैं आपको बता दूं, ब्लैक मार्केटिंग इस तरह से चल रही है कि हमारे को उस समय जरूरत हमारे फादर इन लॉ को चढ़ाने के लिए, तो उसके पता है आपको 30,000 मेरे से पैसा मांगा जा रहा था, 30,000, जिसका मुझे लगता है ज्यादा दाम नहीं, 2,500 से 3,000 शायद उसका ऐसा है कुछ। और आपके लिए अवेलेबल करा दिया जाएगा तो 25,000 में अवेलेबल करा दिया जाएगा, ये बताया जा रहा था।
तो ये डॉक्टर ने बोला था?
नहीं, डॉक्टर्स नहीं बोल रहे हैं।
ये नहीं, बाहर में
नहीं, बाहर में जब डॉक्टर्स ने कहा मेरे पास ये अवेलेबल नहीं है, आप कहीं से लेके आओ, ठीक है। और उसके लिए जब भी हम लोग जहाँ जो हेल्पलाइंस ये वो सब चीज बताया जा रहा है, आपको मैं बताऊं कंटिन्यू बच्चे से लेके सारे लोग इसी चीज में लगे हुए हैं कि कहीं से कहीं कोई भी एक हम लोगों को दिख जाए कि कोई हम लोगों की हेल्प के लिए तैयार हो। और जिससे भी अगर आपने कहीं कांटेक्ट लगा के फिर बात करने पे पता चल रहा है कि आप 30,000 दोगे तो आपको ये चीज मिल जाएगा। ऑक्सीजन है मेरे यहाँ तो मेरे हर जगह, मेरे मायके ससुराल हर जगह सारे बीमार हैं, सभी को कोविड हुआ है। और अभी हमारे भाई को ऑक्सीजन की नीड थी।
Yes, you know, there's several like Manisha, Siddhant, who have their stories of overpricing. While they are in the middle of a massive health crisis within their families, they are facing this kind of, profiteering that is happening. These are vultures, certainly. But what exactly is the scene like in Chennai? Are the hospitals directing patients to say that get your own medicines, get your own remdesivir and manage it on your own?
No, yeah, the situation is little better in Chennai. So I'm with the corporate hospital as well as the private medical college. But over here, what happens is that I think there is a uniform rule that the supply of the remdesivir goes in the name of the patient with the COVID report, with the CT scan report, and it is supplied directly to the pharmacy where the patient is admitted. This information I got it from the distributor and the companies, and it is done on a regular basis. You cannot buy remdesivir across a counter But having said that, small amount of black marketing is still there, but it is more of a uniform thing. You cannot buy remdesivir without admission, without COVID report, without a CT scan. Now, as you know, remdesivir, like many of the drugs, is in the NPPA Act. The MRP is fixed, and as far as Chennai is concerned, we are trying to maintain, and many of my patients had got in the MRP, not charged. But having said that, there are back markets. But whenever I hear that, I tell everybody, don't buy. Hospital will buy for you. Our pharmacy will buy for you. And that's what the situation of remdesivir. Even tocilizumab is also in the same. It's in the NPP Act. Do not charge more than MRP to be supplied in the patient's name in the hospital, and the attendant has to go down and buy from the pharmacy. Okay, so that's what is running in most of the hospitals in Chennai. Yes, again, black market is trying to do here and there, but every time I say, don't buy from the pharmacy. That's what I keep telling all my patients.
Yes, before I give the final words to one of the patients who was sharing his own experience, Professor Mavlankar, there are countless such stories. We continue to hear it. And of course, these are the worst of times that we are witnessing. The third wave is inevitable. That's what the government is saying. There'll be more crunch of resources, be it on the oxygen front, be it on the bed front of public and private hospitals. It will continue to happen. How do you address it?
Yeah, I think this is very good question. What we need to do is build up between the second and third wave a strategic reserve of all these essential and life-saving medicines, oxygen, also have mechanisms by which bed allocation becomes very transparent, and also control the charges of private sector hospitals and beds, because in name of COVID, people are charging a moon. So I think there has to be also control over that, and transparency of charging. And that should continue even post-COVID, because COVID is just one incident. I'm sure there are other things happening in this market of private sector care. Secondly, we should build up the government and non-governmental hospitals, non-profit hospitals on a large scale, so that there is an indirect check on the private sector, and people will get much wider choices at different types of services, a low-cost service, a medium-cost service, and maybe those who have a lot of money, a high-cost service, which is much more fancier. So that also we need to build up our capacities in all these directions, and also have some kind of ombudsman type mechanism where people can complain.
Yes, but Professor Mavlankar, at a time when, look at Siddhant's story. At a time when his father was admitted, all he wanted was to ensure that his father is alive, that he gets the right medical care. And for that, it was coming at a cost. He did that. I mean, approaching an ombudsman may be a great idea, but look at the timeline when patients are trying to save their, when the relatives are trying to save their loved ones. All that they want is, whatever the cost, let the lives be saved. Let me give the final words to you, Siddhant. You lost your father, Siddhant, and that was despite of all the efforts and all the money that you have spent. Towards the end, is it that the state has failed you, or the people at large?
Definitely. See, it is primarily the state which has failed everyone. I should not have been worrying about getting oxygen supplies for the hospital. I should not have been worrying about getting a bed in a decent hospital for my loved ones. I have immediate family members who are still undergoing treatment, and you can't imagine the level of anxiety that I have been going through. If I just want to have a rest for 5 minutes, and I'm just awakened with panic that okay, I might be requiring anything immediately for those 6 days when my father was in the hospital. I could not even sleep peacefully for 5 minutes because nothing was available, and I had to arrange for everything at just just a press of a button. The doctors used to come to me that okay, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have oxygen, we don't have medicines, everything if I have to arrange. So it
Yes.
is the utter failure of the government,
Yes.
getting even okay, I am overpaying.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
that is the least of my
Yes,
worries.
Siddharth.
But making things available is, I think, where the government
Yes.
has failed.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your story, and my condolences for your loss. Thanks to all the panelists who joined us and shared their stories and perspectives. Of course, these are the best of times, the worst of times, and we are seeing good Samaritans on one side, but vultures who are indulging in profiteering in these times is also a reality. We'll continue to put lens on them. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.